Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the These Little Hands podcast. My name is Millicent Viljoen and I am coming to you from Bath, United Kingdom. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It's been about 6 weeks since I have podcast last. I think today is the 18th or 19th of November. It is a Friday. And in my last podcast, I said that my family from South Africa will be visiting me for 5.5 weeks. And so they just left this past weekend, and which is why I only get to podcast now. But we've had a wonderful time together, and thank you so much for everybody's kind messages wishing us a great time. It was so wonderful. It was the first time they met their granddaughter Elena, and they bonded very shortly after they arrived, and we've just had a magical time. So we are of course a little sad to be saying goodbye to them, but our hearts are full and the borders are open, so we will hopefully see them again in the next couple of months, and it won't be almost 2 years again. So I have a lot to show you. I have been making actually quite a lot of things and finishing a lot of things. So I am just going to get right into it. The first thing I'll share with you is what I'm wearing. And I've actually made two of them. I'm only sharing one today because the other one is in the wash. But these are this is one of the two Cecilia dresses I made from a pattern company I only recently discovered on Etsy called Patterns Cause. So I'm not actually sure what language the patterns are in. I think it's either Spanish or Portuguese, I'm not too sure. So it's a PDF pattern, but there's no written instructions for the pattern. There's actually a video that goes along with it. The video is not in English, but so I wouldn't recommend this pattern for a beginner, because I don't think if you can't speak Portuguese or Spanish, I'm sorry that I don't know which one it is now. Because the instructions are very minimal, but it's not a difficult pattern to sew. So if you have made a few things before, I do think you can do it, and I do love this pattern. So there's a full picture on my Instagram, which is just at Millicent Viljoen. But I will quickly stand up. So it has a puff sleeve, 3/4 length sleeve, and it has two tiers. The one tier is narrower than the bottom tier, so the bottom tier is quite a bit longer, and it has a keyhole at the back with a little button. So I didn't make any alterations to the pattern itself. What I did do is she has you sew the elastic onto the fabric, then turn it around and then sew it again with your serger. And I didn't find that to be a very clean finish, so I made a channel and put the elastic in like that, which I prefer, and that works perfectly. And then the neckline is actually finished with vice binding, and so what I did is I cut a facing. So I used the front and back pattern pieces and the shaping at the top, and added about 10 centimeters, and I did a facing for the top. I just think it's neater to do it that way. And on the other one I added a ruffle collar, which is mostly why I did it. I made the other one first and then this one. This fabric is from Sister Mintaka here in the UK, and I saw it. I didn't have a plan for what I wanted to make with it, but I saw it and I just love the print. I mean, it reminds me of the flower birds of paradise that's that you get a lot in South Africa. It's not that print, but this makes me think of that. And it's a gorgeous cotton sateen fabric. It's a really good quality fabric, and what was really nice about it, it is really, really wide. So fabric usually comes in 115 centimeters or 150, and so this is 275, so wide. So I only had 1.5 meters, but because it's so wide I could easily get this pattern out of it. Not a difficult sew, but it is a little bit of a faff. I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as tiered dresses are awesome and the sew is straightforward, because you're basically just doing the bottom top, putting it together and attaching the tiers, gathering the tiers, getting them even, not catching all the fabric, and putting a hem in, because the bottom hem of this is almost 6 meters long. So it is a little bit of a faff, and I had to redo the bottom tier a few times on this one, because I kept catching, there's just so much fabric, I kept catching it like this, and then it was a mess. But I love it, and although it's probably not a winter pattern, I am determined to wear it all winter with my boots and my leggings and a top underneath like this, and I wear my cardigans over it, and so I really love it, and I think it's going to be really great for me here in the UK. I'm still learning to dress for the weather, and I think this is going to be a very good transitional piece. I can wear it in spring, I can wear it in autumn. I like the drop shoulder. I really like the pattern. I would say it doesn't have any darts in the bust, and so I've always had a small bust, but I am a little bigger after I had my baby, so I probably could have done with a bit of a dart here, but it's not an issue. I mean, it's fine, but just keep that in mind if you are a different shape to me, that there is no bust dart, and it's maybe worth it to just put it in. But what I liked about it was the silhouette of the drop shoulder and the big puffy sleeve and the shorter tier and the bigger tier. I think it's more flattering than two tiers that are the same length. So that is this dress, and yeah, I wear it all the time. The next object that I finished, I can't show you. It is a secret test knit that I did for Alex Bird. So I spoke about it a lot because it took up a lot of my time, and I haven't been able to show it here, and I can show it to you next year. It's for a publication that comes out next year, but I'm already wearing it, and that is off the needle. So that's 2 dresses and that object. I don't know if I can even say if it's a garment or an accessory. And then the other thing I finished, and it's blocked and all the ends are woven in, is my birds of a feather shawl that I made for my cousin. So I can say that now because she's already seen it, but it wasn't blocked, so I'm going to post it to her this week. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It starts off over here in this small point, and then you increase all the way. It is a combination of garter stitch and feather and fan, and then you work it to that point. So it's really nice and long. I'm just gonna put it on. It's really nice and long, and it has these very long points, so you can really wrap it nicely. And I made it for her birthday actually, which was in August. But if you look back at the other episodes, I had a bit of issues with the yarn and whatever, so I ended up making a new one. So this yarn is Cosmic Strings Dye Works here in the UK. It's the mohair base, and I think it's just their sock base, and both of them is in the paint box colorway. So I really love it. I have another one that's almost knit up to sort of this point that I'm going to complete for myself, but it turned out really well, and I really like this pattern. So that is also finished, and it's so soft. So I knit it for her because well, she goes into the office now more, but they have a really lovely apartment in London, and she sits in front of this big window looking into the trees working, and I thought this would be lovely over her chair while she's working to keep her warm during the colder months. So definitely one of the most knit-worthy people in my life, and she's also a knitter, so which means she can really appreciate something like that. Yeah, so I think knitting for knitters is a really nice thing because they really understand the work that goes into it and have a big appreciation for that. So that is my fourth finished object that I finished since I last saw you. And then I did two quick projects. In the previous episode, I showed you my luminant pullover, or the one that I'm wearing in the video, that's knit out of this chunky Rowan big wool. And this is what I had left from that sweater, and I wanted to make Elena a hat from that. So this is a free pattern. It's called the Barry hat. I will it's linked on my Ravelry page, but I will also put the name down below. And it's really nice. You do a provisional cast on, knit, and then fold it double, and then knit the two pieces that you folded double together, and then you just continue knitting. Such a quick knit. And I just made a pom-pom with the rest of it. And I made it because I really wanted to make this one. So this was the original color that I had for my luminant pullover, and I decided not to make it out of this color just because I realized I'm not going to wear it that much. As much as I love this color, I think the neutral color is just something I will get a lot more wear out of. So I exchanged the yarn for this color, but I kept one ball because I really loved this color and I wanted to make a hat out of it. So it turned out exactly the way I wanted it. And when I was looking for a pom-pom, Toft had the exact same matching color, which is so great. So it's really nice and warm. This thick brim is something that I really like, and I really like the color, and I think it's just in such a nice pop. What I would say is that the pattern says that this hat only takes one skein of 85 meters, which is what the Rowan big wool is, but that is not true. So annoyingly, I had to buy another skein because I was almost done with the hat. So now I have a little bit still left, which I will see what I can do with. If you're not familiar with the Toft alpaca pom-poms, they come like this, which is nice. So if you want to wash your hat, you can take your pom-pom off. Yeah, so I finished these two very quickly, and I really like them. I actually think this hat goes really well with this shawl. So I am a little bit jealous of the shawl, but I am happy to be giving that to somebody so knit-worthy. Okay, so those are the things I finished, I believe. There's nothing else that I finished, which I realize it's already quite a lot. And then I wanted to share something with you that was also a project while my parents were here. So I knit the Ray Fleur sweater. It was on my Make Mine list for the year in this lovely blush pink color. And I knit that, and I did all the embroidery, and it took me actually quite a long time to knit it. And then when I washed it, I still don't know what happened. Basically, I don't even know how to explain it to you, but basically when I blocked it, the whole front of the sweater discolored, and it wasn't lying in the sun. It wasn't, I don't know what to say, but basically the exposed part that wasn't lying down on the blocking mats discolored, almost that it looked dirty. So there was this distinct line between the front and the back of the sweater. And I tried various ways to clean it and to see, and although I managed to get the color a little bit better, it just, you could see that line. And I also didn't like the color because I really liked the blush pink, and I didn't like, it looked like you colored it with tea. I don't know if you did that experiment when you were little, coloring things with tea, but that was basically the color that it was. And I was so disappointed because I loved that sweater and it was a lot of work, and I also it was a good fit and all of that, so it's so disappointed. And also, I mean, it's Rowan super worsted yarn, so I mean, it is a commercial yarn, and I would expect sort of a really good consistency of it. But anyway, it also at one place in the sweater sort of the yarn separated, so it made a hole. So I had a whole load of issues with the sweater. So then I decided it was ruined, and I'm going to try and over dye it. I've never dyed anything in my life, because I'm not going to wear it as it is. So even if the experiment fails, it, you know, whatever. So I ordered what I thought was going to be like a dark plum purple. Basically, like, I was looking for maybe like this type of purple. It looks really dark on there, but it's, anyway, I was looking for like a dark plum purple color, which is what the website said it was. And I just googled the recipe of how to over dye a wool sweater. So white vinegar and the dye bath and whatever. I've never done this before, so I don't have a big enough pot. I didn't know that citric acid is actually better than white vinegar, and so on and so on. So anyway, okay, so I make the dye bath and I put the sweater in, and it turned out bright purple. And I was looking at the sweater in the dye pot and thought, it is now completely ruined. And my mom was also like, oh no. And I just made my peace with it, left it in there, let it soak up all the dye. The water was completely clear when it ran out, and I sort of didn't pay a lot of attention to it because I thought it was ruined and I was really disappointed. And then I decided, okay, now let me just take it out and let it dry. And then what happened was quite awesome. So this is now my new sweater, and I think it turned out great, and I'm loving it and I'm wearing it a lot. So it is quite bright and it looks like tie-dye, but it is really cool. And on the embroidery, it looks even better. I feel like you couldn't see the embroidery this well before, but because of all the handling of this, the embroidery almost felt it a little bit, and it's more, it pops more. So the embroidery is on the arms, and yeah, so this experiment turned out great. I sewed the whole back with a double knitting before I over dyed it, and yeah, so this might not be everybody's taste, but I am obsessed, and I think it looks like a designer sweater. So it's a little funny, I won't wear it over this dress now, but and you can see I've already worn it a lot. It is pilling a little bit, so I will have to just clean it a little bit. It pulls because, you know, you wear coats and things. But so this is the one arm, and this is the other arm, and yeah, I think it's great. I love it, and it turned out really well. So what I want to say to you is, if your project is ruined and you feel like you're not going to use it anyway, just take a chance. It might work out. This could just as well not have worked out, and I could have dyed it black. You know, like that's also something I could have asked one of my friends that are yarn dyers to help me or whatever. So there was probably an option after this. I could have dyed it black. That's always an option. If you don't know what to do, dye it black. But yeah, so I saved the sweater, which is so great because it is quite an investment to knit a sweater, and I'm wearing this all the time. So that is my Ray Fleur sweater that now looks like a Stella McCartney sweater. Okay, so that is that one, and that is all the finished objects that I finished recently. So I'm going to show you two works in progress. The one that you guys are already familiar with, if you are a returning viewer, is my Ones and Floral sweater. I can't remember where I was last time I showed you. I think I finished the body. So I have now completed one sleeve, and it looks small, but I did try it on, and it is the perfect fit I wanted. I wanted it to be a base layer, so it is it's not tight fitting, but it is slim fitting, So I'm going to wear it as a base layer, and this is going to be my Christmas sweater. So I'm sort of a third of the way done on the second sleeve, and I'm hoping to get it done this weekend. And then my plan is to do a little bit of embroidery with a sparkly thread on the roses, but that's going to be an experiment. If it doesn't work, then I'm just going to leave it because I like it as it is. And the yarn, the green one, I can't remember the name, but it is from Madeline Tosh. The variegated one that I used for the roses is a merino singles that I held double to make the roses pop a little bit more, from Lishan and Lace, and the main color is Max's Camo by Dells. So I've used 2 full skeins of this already. I'm going to start on the 3rd skein now, and then I have 4 skeins. So what I'm going to do with the rest of this is knit Yaku a hat for Christmas, and I can hold it double, which I'm really grateful for. It's what I wanted to do because I want it to go faster. I haven't decided on a pattern yet. Yaku likes plain things, but his coat is this khaki green color, so I think he has a black coat and a khaki green coat, so this hat would go really well with both of his coats. And so I just want to make him a really modern sort of slick hat for Christmas with the rest of the yarn. So that is the plans for that, and I'm really hoping to have this finished within the next week or so. And then I couldn't help myself. After I finished the first sleeve, I had to cast on something new because, yes, in one of the previous episodes, I can't remember if it was the previous one or the one before, I showed you some yarn that I have received from or ordered from South Africa, and this is actually one of my favorite yarn bases. I don't think this yarn gets enough shine in the world. I never hear people talk about it, but it's such a great yarn. It's African Expression Soul, but it is 15% kid mohair, 15% silk, and then 50% merino wool and a little bit of nylon. Really strong yarn, but it's really beautiful, and it has qualities of both mohair and of silk, but it doesn't have that huge fuzz factor that mohair always has. When you think about mohair, it is such a beautiful yarn. Anyway, so they came out with this neon range, and I ordered all 3 colors. There's a yellow one as well, and I was intending on doing a stripy sweater, and then because I did the Luminen test knit for Sari Nordland, she gave us all a free pattern. You could choose a pattern of hers if you participated in the test knit. So she has a sweater called the Hanko pullover that is a boxy shaped striped sweater, and I thought that would be perfect. So my original plan was to do white or a light color with this, but then I thought that might be too contrasting, and I was looking for yarn that has similar properties to this because I don't want to lose the properties of the silk and the mohair because it's a little bit more flowy than just wool. So the closest I could get was Eden Cottage yarns, which is Blueface Leicester and silk. It's obviously not the same, but it does feel quite similar and it does look quite similar in drape. So I decided to go with this color instead of the white because I think the contrast with the white was just too high. And this is DK, the pattern calls for DK, so for the stripes I'm holding this double. So I already started and I'm really liking it. I was a little unsure of the color when it first arrived, but I do think I'm getting the look that I was going for. So I have knit down the shoulders and I've divided for the armhole. So I'm basically now knitting down the front, and I'm at the point where I'm doing the next stripe. So yes, it looks small, it's not, it's fine. I think I'm doing the second size. I did not gauge swatch because I only do that when I test knit. and other than that I do what I want. So don't do what I do. Always swatch, but I didn't swatch. It's gonna be fine. It's a boxy sweater. So I'm working on this one, and then yeah, so those are the two main projects that I'm working on. I really want to finish my Once and Floral sweater, and then after I finish that one, I'm gonna cast on another sweater. So let me jump to yarn acquisitions, because when I could choose a free pattern from Sarah Norland, I chose the handcraft pullover, but then I also bought another pattern. I can't remember the name now, but it is a color work sweater, and it's really lovely. It has color work on the yoke and on the cuffs, and so I looked at it and I decided to get that one as well. What I'm really liking about her patterns at the moment, I mean, I've always liked her patterns, but she's also doing a lot of patterns in thicker yarns, which I quite enjoy. As much as I enjoy fingering white sweaters, they take a long time to knit, so I do enjoy the thicker yarn. So anyway, that pattern calls for cascade yarns to 20, and she also uses this one as a contrast. She has a different color for the mane, but I'm going to use these two colors for that sweater. So as soon as my Once and Floral sweater is finished, I'm going to cast on, I probably should not knit Jaco's hat first, but I'm going to cast on the sweater. And then yeah, so that is those ones. And then while my parents were here, we were very privileged to have quite a few big family events. We had Elena's dedication, we had my father's birthday and my birthday. So for my birthday I got a few yarn acquisitions. Let me just reach over. So my mother got me these ones, and Elena has removed all the labels. Sorry, these three are the same. So this is an alpaca blend yarn, and I will put the name down below because I don't know, I can't remember now what it is. And this one I believe is Katja yarns, and this is alpaca and cotton blend, I think. So she got these from This Is Knit in Ireland. They had to spend 10 days in Ireland before they could come to the UK. That's no longer the case anymore, but so they were there. So I'm really looking forward to thinking of what I'm going to do with these. I think I already have a plan, but I will share that with you soon. And then the other one I've never actually knit with Manos, and it's so famous. I'm very excited to knit with it, is this one from Manos, Del Uruguay, and it's the Alegria base. So I am really looking forward to knitting with this. It's so beautiful. I really like the colors. I feel like everything I'm showing you is matching my dress, which is so great. Yeah, so those are all. I mean, it's not all my plans. I have a lot of plans because Christmas is coming. So I'm thinking the next episode I will do like a Christmas. It may be not so much a knitting episode, but I will do like all my Christmas plans because I have a lot of making and decorating and so forth plans for Christmas. So I will share that with you soon. But before I do that, I wanted to continue sharing some of my older projects in line with some of my Christmas inspiration. So I think the first episode that I returned to podcasting, I showed you quite a few crochet toys that I made, but I didn't show you the Toft versions. So I have been following Toft for a long time, and I'm familiar with their style. But then at some point last year, they brought out these flower monsters, and I love them. So I've made 3. One I gave away as a gift. One was a daffodil, so I don't have a picture. There's a picture of that one on my Instagram. But so these are little flowers, and they come in a kit. They don't sell the patterns separately, but the bodies are all basically the same. Some of them have different arms. This is a chrysanthemum and this is a rose, obviously, but they are so cute. And now they've released a poinsettia one for Christmas that I am very, very tempted to get. So I might actually treat myself, because they also released a special Christmas red yarn that's sparkly. So if it hasn't sold out, which I think it has, if it hasn't sold out, I'm going to get that kit. If it has sold out, I might just wait with the poinsettia, because I really want the sparkly one and for Christmas. So these are on a little shelf in Elena's room. And then one of my friends here in the UK is also very into Taft, and she got me to join the crochet along with them. They do, I don't know if they do it every year, but they have like a little bird pattern, and then everybody does it together. So this was the cockerel. I didn't use Taft yarn for this. I just used yarn from my stash. It's all sort of different ones. I don't even know what it is. The flowers are Taft yarns. So I've made this one. And then I did the bees one. The bees one I didn't enjoy that much. It's actually a kit for 2 bees, and I ended up only making 1. And I didn't like the way the eyes looked, so I made my own version of the eyes. But it was a project to promote saving bees and save the bees, and you got wildflower seeds with your kit. So the wildflower seeds are actually planted in our garden, and I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen with them. So this is the little bee that I have, and then one of my favorite ones is this one. This is a little kit as well from them. So this one is smaller, you can see, than this one. And I don't actually know what happened. I think I crocheted all of these on a bigger needle that I'm actually supposed to. I don't think I checked my needle properly, but when I visited my friend, all her Taft little animals and birds were small like this one, and which I really liked. And so I just double checked the needle size, and then I made this one in the right needle size. So I'm assuming I made these in the wrong needle size, because there's quite a big difference between them, you can see. But I really enjoy making these, and those I think I have now shown you all the crochet toys that I've made for Elena, and I've made a couple for friends as well. So those are those ones. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is this kit that I got. So I needed new slippers, and then I came across this brand. I'm actually not sure what, Sheepers. So basically it's a slip kit, and basically what you then get is this, again with the chartreuse. They only had bright pink and blue and the chartreuse color, so I went with the chartreuse color. So basically you get the sole of your shoe in your size, and then you have this little bag with all sorts of things, thread and this leather strip and yarn that I'll show you. This is actually hand-dyed yarn from Solar Yarns. Solar Yarn, I don't know if that's just the color, but anyway, and you have these fluff for the slippers, and then I'm assuming there should be uppers somewhere. This is probably the inners for the upper part of the shoe, and yeah, I mean, there are uppers somewhere. So, oh no, I do actually think these are the uppers for the shoe, because I can see there's holes in here for you to do your embroidery. So basically, you embroider on them like that with the yarn. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And I will probably do that also relatively soon. It seems really simple. I think it's a great gift for a crafter as well. And yeah, so this chartreuse is really bright, but I'm into that at the moment. And you can cut this fluff shorter if you want to, but I think, I mean, it looks a little bit of a mess right now, but I think when I finish the slippers, it will be really cute. So yes, that is all my plans that I wanted to share with you. So that's a lot. I have a lot of plans for Christmas. I have a lot of things that I want to sew and make, and I have some other plans for this podcast, and I'm hoping to be able to get more into a regular rhythm now as things start to slow down a little bit over Christmas, and I'm hoping to see you soon. Bye.